Hello everyone, I'm Jesus and welcome to the next episode of the Road to Old School MTG. In this video we have round 2 of the July 2024 Premodern tournament held at Dave's Time Warp in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. First round video I already have posted up. I won 2-0, so this is now round 2. It was ended up being 3 rounds total. So far I'm in the right track here. Before we get into the match video, I'm going to quickly go over my Stasis deck in the deck tech section. I'm gonna quickly go through the deck because on video 1, match 1, you have a more comprehensive look at my strategy, right? So I don't want to be doing such a comprehensive look in each of the videos here. So this one's going to be a bit quicker. If you want a better look at video 1. So it's a Stasis deck. So I want to get out Stasis. So it's an enchantment that removes the untap step from every player. But I have to keep on paying 1 blue every upkeep, right? So of course, if I untap step, that becomes hard. But the deck has 23 lands, so it's very common for me to keep on getting lands. I can still play lands. They still come into play untapped, not just for me, but also for my opponent. Plus, I have ways of returning my lands to my hand where I can play them again for additional mana, like Thwart. That's a free counterspell. If I return 3 islands, I can play the counterspell for free. And then, of course, I will always choose tapped islands. That way, I can replay them over the next 3 turns as untapped, and then it continuously pays the upkeep cost. Same thing with Days. That's something else that another counterspell that returns a land, and then I can replay that land again. I have Chain of Vapor and Boomerang as a way to reset the stasis, so all my lands can untap. So I usually will do this end of turn of my opponent. So I get the untap step and he doesn't. And then I'll untap all my lands and then I can recast again. And then that resets all my lands so I can keep on feeding the stasis. But a more harder luck is with Forsaken City. So this is a land that doesn't untap as normal. It taps for any color mana, but during my upkeep, I can choose to remove a card in my hand from the game to untap it. So this is a nice luck with the stasis because I can perpetually, as long as I have 1 card in hand, during my upkeep, I can perpetually keep on paying the stasis cost by untapping the Forsaken City and then paying the stasis. So so I don't have to rely on always having land drops to feed the stasis. And then my win count is with the Black Vise. So the opponent will eventually not have enough lands, will run out of things to do, or he doesn't play enough things to keep his hand from being full. And then Black Vise will whittle away at the opponent until the life drops to 0. So, and in terms of the sideboard, just generics, pretty generic stuff against the main decks that I'm afraid of. I don't know, against Stifle, not chill against any red fast deck, aggro deck. Green against any green weenie or elves or anything with a lot of green in it. Root Maze against control. All right. So other than that, I think we are ready to go into round 1, match 1. I am on the left, opponents on the right. Neither one took a mulligan. So on the top, you'll see our life totals 2020. I played an island and I pass. So to be very blunt, the card pool in Premodern is so huge that I don't know every single card. And I'm not even going to pretend to. Here, my opponent does the rest where he gets to choose 1 non-creature, non-land card and discards it, and that's exactly what I have mostly. I have no creatures in the deck. So he plays that first turn. So that's pretty devastating. And my deck is very telling right here. A whole bunch of counter spells, a boomerang, and a stasis. So I think it's very obvious what kind of deck I'm playing. And I had only 2 lands. So I have 1 land that I already played and 1 more land. He cannot choose that, but I'm just saying this particular hand that I kept is not very land heavy. So, but since I had so much counter spells, I figured I could still survive plus with the boomerang. So, a bit surprising to me that my opponent chose the Arcane Deny and not the Stasis. But we'll see. Maybe he has ways of dealing with enchantments. So maybe I just played land, draw, play land, and go. That's how I tend to play. Unless I'm very reactive, unless the opponent's doing something, I tend to just draw, go, play a land. Okay, so that's Pain Land. And he plays Mother of Runes. That's a 1/1 creature, taps to give basically um, protection from a color to a chosen creature, to a target creature. And then Phyrexian Arena. So this one's hard. So the Mother of Runes, I let it go. It's just the ability has no merit against me. But this is hard. So Phyrexian Arena, basically the opponent will draw an extra card during their upkeep to get for 1 point of life, right? So then eventually they'll have more cards than I have responses. But I was kind of debating it for a little bit because I do want his hand to be full. So so I played Arcane Denial to counterspell. So he drew 2 cards out of that additional. I drew 1 additional card. So he still got a boost in terms of hand size. So other than that, just played a land. So now my opponent, he plays Reflecting Pool. That's basically a forward stone for your own lands, but it's in land form. Tax for 1. I dropped to 19. So he took 19 from the Pain Land, so we're both at 19. It's kind of hard to tell up top. So I'll keep reminding of the life total. So he's casting a second Phyrexian Arena. So he's tapping the Pain Land for colorless, so that doesn't cause pain. All right, so I hard cast the Daze. And it got countered. So he's playing white, right? So I guess that's why he didn't care about discarding my stasis. Okay, so since he tapped out, I'm like, okay. And of course I got a Forsaken City. I'm like, this is the chance. This is what I've been waiting for. And nice, I gush end of turn to return those 2 tap islands that I used to cast the stasis. So now during my upkeep, I paid the stasis cost, I drew a land, and I drew a card and then played a land. And I played the same lands I returned to my hands. What I'm training myself to do is when I draw a new card from my library, I put it on the opposite side of my hand, so that way when I return my lands from my hand, I put it on the other side of my hand, so they don't mix. So I know it's a little, I think most people wouldn't notice those little details in terms of what lands you drew and back, but just in case. All right, so here land turns past a bit. Opponent played a plains and then cast another Mother Runes, and now he plays next turn a Gemstone Mine, I believe. Yeah. So uses one of the counters to duress me again. So for the duress, I'm thinking, okay, do I want to counterspell? Because no, I want to keep my lands open. Because maybe he destroys my land. He plays a wasteland and then he destroys it, right? My Forsaken City. So I'm like, okay, do I counterspell? But then I'm tapped out, and then I have to use the Forsaken City, have no backup, because I cannot counterspell wasteland. Or do I just let him pick something, right? Because really, I don't care too much that he knows I have counterspells. Because if you're playing against a blue player, he got a counterspell. you know, so that's not a big deal. All right, so in this case, since I have lands open, I can choose to still pay the upkeep with my untapped lands. That way I can retain the cards that I'm drawing. Okay. So I play another Forsaken City. I pass. Opponent draws, passes. So unfortunately, this is one of the things I don't like about this deck. Is just a lot of it is just waiting around. All right, so I pay the upkeep cost with the second Forsaken City. I draw. I pass. So I just draw, pass, draw, pass. Okay, so now I'm using the Forsaken City ability to pay these stasis, so I remove the impulse from my hand from the game. Opponent draws, plays a swamp. So I'm waiting now for this. That's why I'm keeping that 1 island open, because I'm waiting for the Black Vise. So there we go. Removing a card from my hand, and I tend to remove the cards that take mana to cast, right? So Arcane Denial, Boomerang, I have to use mana to cast them, as opposed to Thwart or Daze. So those are the ones I prioritize in keeping. So I see another Stasis. So just in case it gets destroyed, I have another one. But oop, there we go. I just ended up. So I'm like all in on the one that's in play. I gotta protect it. So I have 2 lands open. So I do also want to have some land open because I still want to use a counterspell or a king denial, right? So so if it's possible, I want to keep the ones I want to keep the counterspells that cost 0 mana. I want to keep them in reserve and still use the ones that I have to tap out for. So here I'm just passing, draw go, and then the opponent little by little he is getting lands, and then he can cast one thing, right, or maybe 2 things if he's patient. And I mean this deck is all about just patience, right? Like I don't do much. So he's paying 2 mana. Okay, so this is the so I forget the name of it, but it's basically a less powerful him to Thorax. So I discard 2 cards, but I choose, and then if I discard any lands, he gets 3 life for each land I discard. So I discard a foil and a land, so he gets 3 life, so he's at 22 now. I'm still at 19. Okay, so I paid the upkeep with one of the lands. So I wanted to keep. So yeah, this was a little tricky. So yeah, he's getting lucky. He's getting lands. He has like 5 or 6 cards in hand. So if I get that Black Vise, I can win the game here. So I have the rest of the luck is there. Okay, end of turn, I am returning my Stasis to my hand. So this is going to untap my other lands. So it doesn't untap the Forsaken Cities, but now I have 5 untapped islands. So of course I need 2 more to recast it, but still, it bought me 3 turns basically. And this time I did it correctly. In the first game, I did the Chain of Vapor during my own turn, which was dumb. So just learning. Still learning the cards and the correct timing. Or at least remembering, right? Because I knew that's the way to do it, but I just had a glitch in my brain there in the first game. But I still ended up winning. So here, just waiting. So I am drawing more lands. So when I draw, I play it again. So I'm still having those 3 untapped playing islands, I mean. So now my opponent's at 7 cards. He's getting to the point of discarding now. Okay, but eventually, right, you do get. So this is not a 100% hard luck where I basically automatically win. So he played at City of Brass, used the black for another duress. So remember, he gets to choose. So now I'm thinking, okay, is it worth it for him not to see my hand, or do I not care if he sees it because I have a whole bunch of counterspells anyway? So Okay, in this case, I am counterspelling it, but I think a part of it is because I actually want to return my islands to my hand. Okay, ooh, but he did a nice follow-up. So he waited for me to counterspell that, but I still had another free counterspell in days. So that was Vindicate, destroy target permanent. So ooh, that was pretty tense. But I have a whole bunch of lands in my hand now. He drew another gemstone mine. Play the upkeep. I'm waiting for that. Okay, here it is, I think. Yep, Black Vise. So now I gotta protect these things. So I see a Swords to Plowshares, which is a deck card in my opponent. So he plays a land. So he can do stuff, right? So, and for creatures, I tend to not counterspell them because once I have the stasis, they only get in one attack, right? So I prioritize saving the stasis. If I don't have a stasis out, then and I don't have one in my hand, then that's when I might think, okay, I gotta counterspell a creature. But if not, then I'm okay with getting hit a few times. Okay, so my opponent's getting lucky. He's getting lands in a row, and I'm drawing, playing a land, tapping a land. So I'm not. You see, sometimes when I need to, I will use the Forsaken City ability. But if I don't, if I'm getting enough land drops, and then that way it fills up my hand, because I do want to have a full hand. If I can avoid it, of course, you want to have options. Okay, a third Forsaken City. Wow. Okay, opponent take a point of damage. Man, he's getting land. So that's the tricky thing about this particular lock. Eventually, the opponent will get enough cards where he can't cast things still, right? Of course, he just gets one shot with it because the lands are going to stay tapped after he casts something, but still. Like, he almost got me last one when he did the rest, and then I counterspelled that, but then he followed up with a Vindicate. So, so I got to be careful with what I counterspell, what I don't. All right, so I play another land, pass, opponent takes 1 damage, so he's only, so since he's getting lands, he's just playing the lands, and then, so right now, ideally, he wouldn't have gotten so many lands in a row, and then his hands would have stayed at 7, and then he would have been getting like a lightning bolt every turn, right? Okay, so here I'm gushing, returning the 2 islands that were tapped to my hand, while I still have 1 island in play untapped, which can still pay the Stasis upkeep cost. But I could have done the Forsaken City thing anyway, right? So, okay, and I think I should have, because I ended up discarding the Forsaken City anyway. Okay, so now he's doing a duress on me again. I don't know if he took a hit last turn. Oh no, I think he has 4. Okay, so yeah, he's just, it's very important what's tapped, what's not tapped. So yeah, so once again, so look what I have. I got 3 counter spells, a boomerang, an impulse, a second stasis in case he destroys the one that I have. But of course, if he has an instant, he'll destroy the stasis end of my turn, so that way he gets an untapped. Okay, so he discards the stasis, and then here we're just keeping the hands available for him to see a bit more, and of course for you guys, the watchers. So he's at 15, I'm at 20. Huh? 20? How did I gain life? I think maybe he hit my side by mistake. We'll see. All right, so end of turn, returning the stasis to my hand, because he already saw my hand, right? So there's no surprise. But remember, the Forsaken City still stay tapped. So I recast it, so now that resets my lands. So he takes a damage, 14. But yeah, I'm not sure how. I know I took 1 hit from the Mother Runes, I believe. Either way, let's see if it ends up mattering. All right, so he plays another Mother Runes. So here I think he's just casting stuff because he needs to get rid of cards in his hand. He knows, he's not doing much, but he can't keep them in his hand. I pay the upkeep, I draw, so I have 6 untapped islands, so I can pay the upkeep cost for 6 turns. So this is Mother. So he's just destroying his own creature. I think he just did it to drop his hand low, so he doesn't take any damage. So he didn't take a damage now. But honestly, he should have just taken it and kept the lands untapped. So we can peek at his hand. He's got big creatures, 1 or 2 big creatures in his hand, but doesn't have the mana to cast it. And even if he does, he's just going to get 1 hit. I'm at 19, right? I believe either 19 or 20. So it's still not worth it to cast a creature just for 1 hit. Okay, so this one is a creature basically that allows him to, once again, look at my hand. pick a card, it gets removed from the game as long as that creature stays in the game. Right, so I have no wraths or things, so it's basically, it's gonna cost me 1 card. But then once again, he needs to look at my hand. And there we go. So I'm like, okay, is it worth it to counterspell this, or just do I rather just keep things open and let him look? Okay, so oddly enough, he chose impulse. Me, I'm like, I'm right where I need to be. I want to keep my mana open for counterspells. So now I got a second Black Vise, so now it's tricky. And he has only 1 land, untapped land. So I paid the upkeep. Yeah, it's 5 cards now, so starting next turn he's gonna start getting hit. And yeah, he just saw the writing on the wall with 2 Black Vises, and he has 6 cards, only 1 creature. I mean, only 1 land is untapped. So yeah, it's gonna be hard to get away from that one. But you know, then it was definitely a tricky game. All right, game 2 now. So once again, no mulligans from either side. He goes first. Gemstone Mine. But so discards, it is hard, you know, that's a hard thing against my deck. You know, I want to keep my cards, of course, I want to counterspell. So his deck is definitely troublesome against me. And I don't have a lot of experience, so this was the first time I'm playing against somebody who did so much discarding. So for me, I just played a island, but I think I must have something else, I guess, a Forsaken City, because those are the only 2 lands I have. Because it took me a while to play that card. All right, so he gets a second Gemstone Mine. Okay, he's using 2 counters. Okay, ooh, that's the one that I discard 2 cards. I get to choose though, but if it's any lands, he gets 3 life for each one. Each land discarded. So sorry about that. The life is out of view, but there we go. Actually, now it's even better. So I'm red. So I discard a gush and a land, so he gets 3 life. And then other than that, he passes. I draw. So yeah, I do have Forsaken City, so I'm just afraid because I don't want to play Forsaken City too early because I can only get it 1 shot, right? Unless I want to discard cards from my hand. But then that's, you know, that's not good so early off in the game. But I'm also afraid that he's going to make me discard something. Ooh, Phyrexian Negator. So he's just a buy 5 for 2 mana, for 3 mana. And he has a really bad drawback of if he gets hit for damage, the opponent has to discard that much permanence. But of course, I have no damage to deal. So that's a perfect card against me. I had to Arcane Denial, but then of course my opponent gets 2 cards out of that. So a lot of times the Arcane Denial is nice because of course it lets me draw an extra card as well, which I want to, you know, get that combo going. So I see a Black Vise. I see, yep, the Forsaken City, but I do not have a Stasis in hand yet. So this would have been a perfect time to do it. If I had a Stasis, I played the Forsaken City. And then he's already tapped out. So I played instead. I played Black Vise. That's the only thing I could do. I dropped a land in the soul, I believe. He took 2 points. He's at 21. Placed another land, but at least the Gemstone Mines have 1 more tap in them. But with the Reflecting Pool, that's a cool combo because Gemstone Mines produce any mana color, and Reflecting Pool copies what color manas your lands could produce. So that's basically it's getting free City of Brass from the Reflecting Pool, as long as he doesn't destroy both his Gemstone Mines. He passes. So no creature. Oh, actually, yeah, 1 creature, the Negator, right? That's a huge creature. So you see, in that case, I'm like, okay, I don't have a Stasis in hand. If I had a Stasis in hand, I would have let him cast it, of course. I don't care if I get hit for 5. by getting hit for 5 for 4 turns. I care about that a lot. All right, so I just play a land. I'm like, without that stasis, I'm just stalling him. So I see a Vindicating his hand, something else. So he takes 2 points. So, so me stalling, it's not like I'm not accomplishing anything. He's getting hit, but not too much. And then, yeah, this spell is making him draw up, gain more life. Okay, so in this case, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to. Okay, ooh. So I gush, I tap 2 mana. So I have it floating, because there's no mana burn here, so I can do this stuff with impunity. And then I am returning those 2 lands to gush. So this gives me more cards that I can feed into his thing. Or I could just counterspell with one of my counterspell cards that I may have. I'm not sure if I do. In this case, I should. Yeah, but in general, yeah, I don't care too much that my opponent is gaining life too much. Because once I have a lock, eventually I'm going to win. For the most part. Okay, so yeah, he's going to gain 3 more life. So 22. So I discarded a Root Maze because I see I have a second one in my hand. The opponent just... Oh, that was still his turn. Yeah. So I played a land, the ones that I returned from my... with the Gush. So he's playing a Disenchant, I think end of turn. And I'm like, all right, I'm letting it go. I'd rather he disenchant that than disenchant the Stasis, if I ever get one. Okay, so this is just a 2/2 Knight, first strike protection from red, right? So it's like a white knight, but it has protection from red, so it's just a creature. I mean, as long as I don't have a Stasis out, casting creatures is definitely hard for me to deal with. If I don't counterspell it right at that spot. Since I'm at 20, I figure, okay, he has to hit me 10 for 10 turns before I die from that. So I let it through. Plus, maybe you get lucky, I get a boomerang or a chain. But yeah, at this point, not much I can do. Okay, he attacks. I get hit for 2. Ooh, he casts a second one. And I do see an arcane, but I'm like, in hindsight, I should have made a counterspell. But those arcanes are kind of hard because he gets 2 lands as well. I mean, 2 extra cards as well. So I'm just going to have to end up counterspelling something else next turn anyway. So taking 4, I'm at 14. 3, he's casting another Phyrexian Arena. Yeah, it looks like that's what it is. So I'm thinking, so I see yeah. So the Root Maze, it doesn't make, okay, so I hard cast a Gush. So yeah, it's in play. So his Phyrexian Arena is in play. I see another Black Vise. So that's good on one end, but he has a lot of lands tapped. So I pay 2. Okay, do I have a... Okay, Impulse. I'm desperate here. So I want to get a Stasis now because I do have a Forsaken City. So I have the combo going. So I'm trying to cast it this turn, but I didn't draw it. If I did, I would have played it already. So I do see a Black Vise. So I'm thinking, do I play it now? I guess I should. Yeah. All right, so yeah, he gets to untap. Takes the damage for the arena, but gets an extra card. So it's coming in. So 3 more turns with just what's in play. So I see a Vindicating his hand. Okay. So here I'm thinking, okay, do I counterspell this? Okay, oh, another Arcane Denial. So I guess for me, I'm also, I do want that extra card to draw because like I'm desperate here for a stasis. So sometimes a counterspell just not because it's such a big threat, but because I want to get the benefit of the counterspell that I'm playing. So in Arcane Denial, I want to get that extra draw. Or Thwart, I want to get those lands back to my hand so I can play them again. So sometimes I will counterspell something that's not very relevant just so I can get that benefit. But here, I'm getting killed here. Getting hit for 4 again. He's playing more lands. Ooh, so he's got 2 Chromas, I think, in hand. He may have, let's see, 3. Okay, another Vindicate. I'm like, okay. And then he's reanimate. Does reanimate. So he can return any creature back from the dead. But he has to take damage in life equals to lose life equals to the casting cost of the creature. So the negator just costs 3. Okay, so I let it through. Oh no, I think I'm still deciding. Wait, because he dropped. I don't think he dropped his life, did he? Because I saw him drop life, so I guess maybe he did. Yeah. So I guess it's in play. Am I letting this? Yeah, my opponent's yeah. That means next turn I'm dead. Okay, so now he's casting something else. He's like going all out. Okay, so he's casting that guy again. That makes me just remove a card from my hand to. Okay, so that one I'm Arcane Denying. That's weird. But then Arcane Deny the negator. Return him to your hand. Untap. Ah, there we go. I had a Chain of Vapor. Okay, that's why. So 2 draws. I'm like, okay, can I get a? So he's tapped out now. Can I get a stasis? Still no stasis. He's gonna hit me for 4. I'll be at 2 next turn. And he may not probably won't cast that negator because he's about. Okay, so I'm casting this. I think I thought it taps the creatures coming into play, the root maze, but it doesn't. It makes lands and artifacts come into play tapped from both sides. So if the opponent's already tapped out, that's a hard lock with stasis. Because I think other than Elvish Spirit Guide, that's the only way that you can get mana once this combo's out. Or maybe some elves. Elves can definitely get around root maze. Alright, but other than that, it just passed. He played a Plains, which comes into play tap, but that's not going to stop much. He's coming in for 4. I'm taking. Yeah, he's hitting me. Dark Ritual. Casting the Negator again. Ooh, 5 mana. Okay, he's got 5 black. Five black, 1 white. I guess he's tapping. Three mana. Okay, he's casting the Negator again. So he's got 2 black mana left. White. Okay, he's casting that the him type. Okay, he's gaining 6 life. He didn't use one of the black mana, so he only has 1 black mana open. But I don't think that's gonna matter. So he just gained 6 life because I just discarded lands because I don't care. At this point, even if I play a stasis, he already played that creature that's untapped. And then cast a Mother Runes just, because I'm so low, like I'm almost dead. Okay. And I think, yeah, I think even if I did get that stasis, it's too late because he has other things that are untapped by this point. So yeah, he got me. I never got a stasis out. Those 2/2 knights ended up winning it for him because just little by little. With one, it was not so bad, but that second one, if I had a counter spell, I don't know if I did when he cast that one. I was just confident. Okay, like I can't be this unlucky that I'm not gonna get a stasis. But I think I should have, in hindsight, if I did have a counter spell, I should have counter spelled that second one. All right, so we're 1-1. So I go first. This is game 3. So no mulligans here as well. So none of us mulligan at all. So nice. So I get a turn 1 Black Vise. So that's 3 damage right off the bat before he even has a turn 1. Well, pass, so that's good for me because he can get the rest and things like that. Ooh, he gets another 3, right? So that's, if he gets a slow start, that Black Vise can really do a lot of damage. Okay, he has another swamp. He needs to cast them. Okay, he takes it back. Okay. Oh, he needs to play a land. Okay. Gemstone Mine. The rest. There we go. Some. Am I okay? Do I? So he had the gemstone mine as opposed to a swamp, right? So he brought it back. So I'm thinking, of course, he playing something that's white instead. All right. So either I counterspell this. Okay. So yeah. Whoa, this is a weird hand. I don't know if I should have kept this. I got 3 gushes, a counterspell, and a root maze, and no way to cast the root maze. The only way I can cast the root maze is with Forsaken City. Forsaken City taps for any color. But if I don't have a Forsaken City out, then I can never cast that root maze. So this is a weird hand for me to keep. So I saw, since I saw so many gushes, I'm like, I guess I kept it because I think main reason I kept it was because of the Black Vise, and I had a counter spell. I'm like, okay, I can. With this, it's enough for me to stall out. Okay, so I'm gonna do the trick again, where I'm gonna tap mana. This is my turn now. I gush, and I play a land again, the ones that I just drew, that I drew back to my hand, because this is like, just this is just a way to cycle through my deck fast, because I need to get a lock ASAP. I know he has a lot of weenie creatures or low casting cost things that, but I think I'm getting lucky. So he doesn't have double white, so I don't know if he has a knight in hand, but that's what killed me last game. So the card discussion hasn't been such a huge deal. I can get around it basically. The issue is having. So he's casting that card again that makes me discard. So I may just let him discard the 2 gushes I have, because I'm like, I only have 1 land in play anyway. So yeah, I think that's what I did. But yeah, as I was saying, my issue is the creatures. If he gets out a creature, he probably has more creatures than I do. Counter spells. So I think I do see oh yeah, I have a stasis in hand, but I don't have a Forsaken City, and I only have 2 lands, so I cannot cast that stasis. So opponent goes City of Brass, takes a damage. He's at 11. So that my Black Vise is doing stuff, right? So then he does have to watch himself with City of Brass or anything that damages himself. Like maybe the Phyrexian Arena, maybe he might not cast it because he's at 11. I can't complain about being too small. Okay, so yeah, he's choosing a token. Yep. Vindicate. A lot of times I'm okay with the Black Vise dying because I have 4 of them. Yeah, I think here I'm just oh, okay, I'm doing an impulse just to see if maybe I draw another one. In that case, maybe I don't care that it dies. Since I have so few lands, I think this with the impulse I'll probably end up just keeping a land. We'll see. I see a. I'm not sure what I kept, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a land, because I'm desperate for lands here. So yep, I let it die. Okay, do I have a land here? Okay, get a land. Okay, that's good. But that's it. So I did have the Black Vise, but it got destroyed. I do have a station in hand, but not enough lands to keep it alive. So he got hit for. Oh no, he didn't get hit for Black Vise. He forgot that it was already dead. Okay, so I see his White Knight Knight card in hand, so he's casting it. Okay, so since I already have a stasis, I'm not too. It's not such a big deal. I'm still at 20. So I know I'm going to cast a stasis. So if I get a Forsaken City, like that's good. And that allows me to stall out a bit more for me to get another Black Vise in play. But yeah, I'm just passing. I got 23 lands in the deck. Plus I draw a lot of cards. Okay, so he's casting a creature face down. So I don't know the card pool of Premodern so much, but I'm pretty sure I know that's a bad thing. And I know it's a creature, right? From what I know, only creatures you can do that. Play them face down. I think it's face down as a 2/2 creature, and then you can pay the whatever it's called to flip it around. All right, so here I'm just taking no chances. I think that's a chroma, I think, whatever. But it's a creature, a big fatty. I just counterspell it because I don't want to. Okay, gush. I'm gushing the same two lands that I just tapped. This is all at end of turn. So now during my draw. I play the same lands I drew. Okay, so I have two lands in hand. Oh no, I cannot. I was just saying, okay, I can stasis now, but I cannot because I have to have a third land to pay during the next turn's upkeep. But so far he just has the knight. I'm just afraid that he's going to make me discard the stasis. Since last game I lost because I didn't have a stasis. And right now he's tapped out. If I had a Forsaken City, this would be a perfect time to play the stasis, Forsaken City. But unfortunately I don't. And then I have to discard because I have too many cards in hand, and I have to discard a Daze, which is not good because that's a great card. All right, so it's not looking good. So I'm getting hit for 2. So I do want to wait until the opponent hopefully does things. Okay, 2 mana. He kills his Gemstone Mine. Okay, he's casting another. And he's taking a hit from the City of Brass. So I let it go. Ooh, reanimating probably the Acroma girl. Or whatever she's called. Arcane Denial, yeah. I'm trying to draw through my cards. Plus has one land anyway. So yeah, I think by next turn I'm going to, since I do have an outline. Ooh, I got the Forsaken City. Ooh, there we go. I was gonna do it anyway, I think, because I had enough lands in hand to at least cast the stasis and hopefully keep it alive enough. But now I got the combo. Okay, this is the hard lock. I did it. Root Mace and a stasis. So any lands and artifacts from both sides, for me too, come into play tap. So he cannot use his mana anymore to his new lands to cast things. And then me, of course, I can just discard a card to pay for the Forsaken City to pay the stasis. So it hits me for 2 more. I discard a Root Mace, which I don't need anymore. Not discard, remove from my hand. I play a land, but it comes into play tapped. So I do plan. So when this happens, I need to get a second Forsaken City because then I can because right now I don't have a Black Vise, right? So I'm like, okay, how am I gonna win if all my lands come into play tapped? I need to play a second Forsaken City. It'll come into play tapped. But then next turn I can discard remove 2 cards from my hand to untap both of them. One of them I can still pay the stasis cost, while the second one can now cast the Black Vise. So I think I'm gonna mention to him, or because he may be just curious. Okay, how am I gonna win? I'm just, I'm not doing anything. I'm removing my own lands from my hand. But yeah, so he has a hard lock. His hand is full. Ooh, I removed thwarts. That's a tricky one. I should have kept that one. So yeah, you see, so he can't do anything. What? Black Vise? Okay, I must have I think I have a second Black Vise, so I don't care that that one's getting removed, because I made a mistake. So
I removed already. I drew.
I drew, and then I'm like threw it out. I'm like, but I already paid the cost of the Forsaken City.
Draw. Pass.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just waiting for the second Forsaken City so I can then cast the Black Vise, because my lands are coming. Yeah, I think I'm mentioning now. My lands are coming into play tapped as well. So I also cannot cast anything. That's why I don't like this Root Maze. This is more of a desperation thing. Because it's, now it's just, I'm just drawing and drawing and drawing until I get a second Forsaken City. But it is a hard lock. Okay, he's casting a Dark Ritual. Gets me a Phyrexian Negator. Yeah, so he's just, I mean, what else can he do, right? He's got to do some damage some way. So he plays a land, comes into play tap, but he just wants to get his hand low. Because I think, he knows that's the only way I win with a Black Vise. All right, so I remove a card to pay the thing. I pass. He draws, hits me for 5. Like I said, usually I don't care. When I'm playing against a red deck, I care how much I draw. So I'm just drawing and go. Him too. So he has no lands in hand. So if I get that Black Vise, he's going to be getting hit for 3 consistently. So he's discarding at this point. Finally, I get that second Forsaken City. So it comes into play tap. So that's it. I pass. Draws. I think he drew no land, so he discards. During my next upkeep, I remove 2 cards. Yep. So they both untap. I use 1 for the upkeep. I get my regular draw.
Does that untap even though?
So yeah, he's just asking about this. Yeah, because there's 2 city abrasive. Forsaken Cities. For each one of them, I can remove a card in my hand. And now that leaves my 1 mana open to finally cast the Black Vise. And then, yep. So right now he's tapped out. Any lands he plays will come into play tapped. If he has artifact mana, artifact acceleration, it comes into play tapped as well. So that's a hard lock. Once that lock comes into play, unless you're like elves, there's no coming back from that. At least not that I know of. I think there might be a couple cards that you can still play. That kind of like my spells that are free of. I can play for free by paying an alternate casting cost. So like I said, I'm not 100% familiar with the card pool of Premodern. It's way, huge in comparison to old school. But other than that, unless there's something like that, I think for the most part that should be a lock. But even if it's not, I usually will have some kind of thwarts or days, something else to just in case. But all right, so with that, I got this final game, but it was really a pretty tedious match. So that's one of the things I don't like about this particular deck. Is I just end up it feels like I'm stalling, waiting. So it's not very proactive. But I didn't know what I was signing up for when I created a Stasis deck. So I do like the deck definitely, but on my next go around, I do want to change it up a bit, make it a bit more proactive. But at least I did get this game in, so I won 2-1. So now I'm 2-0, and then the next match that's coming up, that's going to be the next one. So that's already should be for the championship. So thank you guys for watching this video.